All right, let's get into it. We are about to tackle one of the most ambitious, absolutely confusing, and, community-driven stories in all of gaming. I'm talking about the sprawling saga of Call of Duty Zombies. This is a tale that wasn't just told, it was literally unearthed by its own fans.
And honestly, nobody sums it up better than the fans themselves. This quote right here, from a Reddit user named Nappy13, it just perfectly captures the beautiful mess we're about to untangle. I mean, the story is legendary because it's so convoluted, right? So how in the world did a simple bonus mode in a World War II shooter just spiral into this decades-long cosmic horror saga? Yeah, to understand that, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning, to its surprisingly humble origins. And believe it or not, this whole thing, this massive multi-decade story, was never even planned. Seriously, it started as a secret, a hidden bonus mode, a little Easter egg you could only get after beating the campaign of 2008's Call of Duty World at War. That was it. Just 4 soldiers, 1 bunker, and endless waves of zombies.
But something about it just clicked. What started as this simple, wave-based survival mode really struck a chord with players. It was frantic, it was fun, and you could just feel it had this little spark of something more. Well, that spark caught fire, and what was just a fun little distraction started to morph into an absolute narrative behemoth. Okay, so this is where things start to get interesting. We're moving from just simple survival into a real story. The community was just so hungry for lore that it kind of pushed the developers to build out a whole narrative foundation. And it all starts with, well, some very weird science.
It really all boils down to one thing. Element 115. You got to remember this one. This fictional, otherworldly element is the source of, well, everything. The story goes that it fell to Earth in meteors, and it has one particularly nasty side effect. It reanimates dead tissue. Yep, this is the scientific reason for the entire zombie apocalypse.
And right at the heart of all this research was a secret Nazi science division, Group 935. It was led by 2 brilliant, but let's just say rival scientists. In one corner, you've got Dr. Ludwig Maxis. He sees Element 115 as a tool for technological advancement, for progress. And in the other corner, you have Dr. Edward Richtofen, a complete sociopath who just sees it as a path to absolute personal power.
So you can probably guess this rivalry doesn't end well. It comes to a head in an act of just pure evil. Richtofen betrays Maxis, trapping him and his young daughter Samantha inside a teleporter. But, and this is a big but, it backfires, like spectacularly. Samantha gets teleported, but she ends up at a secret base on the moon, where she stumbles into this ancient, mysterious pyramid device. And this thing, it gives her godlike control over all the zombies. So now you've got a little girl with an army of the undead, and she is dead set on getting revenge. Okay, so this is the moment. This is the moment the story goes from a pretty straightforward sci-fi horror plot to something else entirely. This is where things get really, really weird. We're talking cosmic. So at this point, you're probably thinking, okay, I got this. A girl controls zombies to get revenge on the guy who messed with her family. Simple enough. I can follow that, right?
Nope, not even close. You can just throw that simple idea right out the window. The story didn't just expand from here, it shattered. It fractured into 1,000 different pieces, spanning multiple dimensions, alternate timelines. I mean, the very fabric of reality itself.
This is when we enter what the community calls the Aether story. And all of a sudden, our little zombie story, it's now the backdrop for a massive cosmic war between these godlike beings, the Keepers and the Apothecons. Our heroes, who we now call Primus, find out they're just pawns in this huge conflict, and what's worse, they're trapped in an infinite time loop. And every single thing they do just creates more paradoxes that threaten to, unravel all of existence.
So the whole story basically becomes this huge question of destiny versus free will. Are these guys just puppets in some cosmic play, fated to repeat the same journey over and over and over again forever? Or is there a way? Can they somehow find a way to finally break the cycle?
So, with a story this fragmented, this absolutely insane, how could anyone possibly keep track of it all? Well, that's the magic of it. You weren't really supposed to follow it. Not in the traditional sense.
See, the developers didn't just hand you the plot in neat little cutscenes. No way! They hid it. They buried the lore deep inside cryptic radio messages, complex ciphers, hidden documents, and of course, those incredibly elaborate in-game quests we all know as Easter eggs.
And this approach, it basically turned the players into the storytellers themselves. It tapped into something really powerful, the thrill of the hunt. This wasn't a passive experience where you just sit back and watch. It was a global puzzle box. And the people who put it together were this massive community of detectives on Reddit, on YouTube, on old-school forums, all working together, sharing clues to piece the whole thing together. And the level of dedication was just staggering. I mean, take the Apothicon language. Players were just given these weird alien symbols with almost nothing to go on. And what did they do? They reverse-engineered an entire language. They broke down the symbols into their base components to figure out not just what the words meant, but the whole cultural context behind them. It's just an incredible, incredible feat of collaborative problem solving.
This quote from a huge Zombies YouTuber, Black Ops Amazing, just perfectly captures that energy. Every time a new trailer dropped, it wasn't just a preview. It was a new set of clues, a new puzzle for the entire community to dissect. And that fueled this amazing cycle of hype and discovery that was honestly almost as much fun as playing the game.
Okay, so how do you even end an impossibly complex, seemingly infinite story? Let's get into how they finally broke the cycle, and in doing so, paved the way for a totally fresh start.
So after a decade, a literal decade of fighting across all of time and space, our heroes finally realized there's only one way to truly break the loop for good. It wasn't about winning one more battle. They had to erase the entire corrupted multiverse from existence. And tragically, that meant erasing themselves right along with it.
And it worked. Their sacrifice actually worked. By basically poisoning their own souls and shattering the cycle, they collapsed all those broken timelines into one single new, clean universe. A universe that was finally free from all the paradoxes, the cosmic gods, and the endless time loops.
And this new universe, this is where the story picks back up with what's called the Dark Aether Saga. The slate was totally wiped clean. Now the zombie outbreak starts all over again, but this time, it's not from ancient aliens or magic rocks. It's from a Cold War-era science experiment gone horribly wrong, punching a hole into a terrifying new dimension and, yep, letting the undead flood right back into our world.
You know, it's really a testament to the world they built. Even after a definitive multiverse-ending finale, the core idea is just so compelling that the story found a way to be reborn. It's still evolving, still growing for a whole new generation of players.
And that kind of leaves us with this really fascinating question, doesn't it? The Zombies saga proved that a community can be just as crucial to building a story as the actual creators. I mean, this is a story that lives and breathes in wikis, in forums, in those 4-hour-long YouTube analysis videos. So, what happens when the audience isn't just consuming the story, but is an active part of building it? This whole insane saga, it might just be a glimpse into the future of entertainment itself.